one team that we seem to continuously learn about every single week is Colorado. And look at this. Another Tuesday when the sports ratings comes in and just more mind-shattering Colorado Buffalo viewership numbers. 9.3 million viewers watch Colorado State. And before we get into this, if you're listening and you're like, well, yeah, it was the only game on TV and it was, Colorado State had the big lead. And so they saw the people saw the score on the phone. They turned on the game. Well, yeah, okay, that's fine. But guess what? There's been a ton of close, good games in the 9:30 slot on ESPN, yet none has even sniffed this number. It shattered the previous late game record. It is the 5th most watched college football game ever on ESPN. Full stop. Pac-12 versus Mountain West. 1-11 versus what was Colorado State last year? Weren't they 2-10?
Yeah.
Or something along those lines? Two awful programs. And just because Prime shows up, it becomes ESPN's most streamed regular season game of all time. And this truly boggles the mind to me. To me, this is even more impressive than the big noon kickoff of Nebraska and Colorado beating Texas, Alabama, because Nebraska is also a massive fan base that comes with a lot of built-in viewers. Big noon kickoff is a massive stage, and a lot of college football fans like to kick their day off with. As many pointed out at the time, Fox is a cable channel that everybody has, whereas ESPN, you have to pay for it. Basic cable, I should say. And so for this to be on ESPN at 9:30, again, Pac-12 versus Mountain West, Colorado versus Colorado State to do 9.3 million. This is why everybody salivates and why TV executives especially salivate over Deion Sanders.
Yeah. I'm surprised they moved the college game day. I mean, why would you not be Colorado at Oregon in Eugene, an incredible environment, two great football teams, and TBD on the great Colorado, two really good football.
I think game days in South Bend, but we did hear that they're flying Herb Street and Fowler to call LSU Arkansas instead of Colorado Oregon.
Which I think that, to me, I think both have a chance to be blowouts. I would say LSU is more legitimate opportunity to blow the doors off Arkansas. I don't know why you wouldn't just ride the train, man. They're putting up stupid numbers. If I'm ESPN, I'm just going to follow Prime until they die.
Yeah.
Until they lose, you're going to follow them wherever they go.
Well, and so, that's the question. Do they die this weekend? I mean, the interest won't die, but I'm not expecting them to beat Oregon. I still don't expect them to beat USC. I still don't expect them to beat Washington. The tier of Oregon State, Utah, UCLA, even now, like we talked about, is getting frisky. That I'm not so sure on, but Oregon should just straight up be better, even though, Aaron, Dan Lanning made it personal at Pac-12 Media Day this summer. Now, he made it personal before we knew what making it personal meant, but he made it personal when he basically said, what has Colorado ever done for this conference?
And I'll tell you this, I love Bo Nix. I love Oregon. I love their offense. But I watched their defense and they're good, and Dan Lanning's your DC, but they haven't been anything special this year. They haven't. I mean, it's I look at their DBs, and at times there's guys getting turned around, getting spun around, and you look at what Colorado does well. They have a quarterback that is very decisive with the football, very accurate with the football. They have really good talent at the receiving position. The question obviously is going to be continuing to be for Oregon or for Colorado when you face a team like Oregon or USC or Oregon State. Can you win in the trenches? And I don't necessarily need you to win. Can you just hold up enough to give Shedeur 3 seconds to throw the football?
Yeah, Shedeur will manipulate the situation to.
I think Shedeur, once again, it comes down to if you have an elite quarterback, you always have a chance. And he's got to get rid of it a little bit sooner. He's taken way too many hits, and part of it's the offensive line, part of it's on him. But when you have the great equalizer, which is a top 10 NFL quarterback with, I would say, pretty exceptional receiving play, even without Travis Hunter out there, you have a chance to make the game a lot closer than that 21-point spread.
Yeah, but that without Travis Hunter out there is doing a
That's a problem.
lot of heavy
I think
lifting.
it's more of a problem on the defense than it is the offense of
Oh,
losing Travis.
1,000%. I mean, they still got
100%
Xavier
defense.
Ward. They still got, oh, wait, Xavier. Is that the Texas receiver? Am I getting my wires
Texas
crossed here?
receiver. You are.
Um, no, Weaver. Sorry, Weaver, right? Like they still have good receivers. So
Jimmy
they can
Horn
still,
Jr., they got
yeah,
Weaver, Dalen Edwards out of the backfield's been great.
they can
Yeah, they
still
got
threaten
skill. It's defense.
Oregon in that way, but you're losing a guy, and Bo Nix sometimes has a propensity to throw picks. Like, I don't think it's hard to have seen Travis Hunter getting one off of Bo Nix, shutting down an entire side of the field. That's where that really hurts. Like, not only do you lose another great skill weapon, so it is like losing two players, not just one,
Yeah.
but you lose a guy at, I mean, again, we always talk about who
You lose your most athletic guy on both sides of the football.
Well, who do they pay in the NFL? You pay quarterbacks and you pay people who affect or protect the quarterbacks. Okay. It's your left tackles, that's your defensive end pass rush, and that's your cornerbacks. And so when you're trying to shut down an elite quarterback like Bo Nix, Travis Hunter would have been massive. So to me, Hunter basically gives Colorado no chance here.
You know who's loving this and should love this opportunity right now, and the fact that they're 3-0 is Bo Nix. Because you know how I feel about Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is an incredibly talented quarterback. He's had a great season so far. You know, is kind of under the radar in the Pac-12 now because you obviously there's a lot of love for Caleb. There's a lot of love for Michael Penix. And now there's a lot of talk about Shedeur Sanders. And even DJU's getting a ton of love for what he's doing at Oregon State. Like no one is talking about Bo Nix right now because it's Oregon and they're just kind of flying under the radar. Like this is his moment.
Yeah.
And he's more than capable of doing it. To go out there and throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns, have a rushing touchdown, have over 400 total yards combined between the two of them, and just skyrocket himself into the conversation of a legit Heisman finalist.
Now,
which he's going to do. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, Bo Nix is not going to have 4 or 5 touchdowns in this football game and put up crazy stats. This is their offense is one of the best offenses in the country right now, and you're going against a defense that just.
Does the 38-30 battle in Lubbock, Texas bother you at all? I mean, Lubbock's a weird place to have to play that game. Texas Tech was
it does a little bit
for some sort of revenge. Like maybe that cracks the door open for Colorado, but if Oregon's as good as we think they are, and if Dan Lanning's everything he's really cracked up to be, like we've talked him up to be, Oregon's got to handle the business. Business this week.
It's at home. It's at home.
Yeah. That's true. It's in Eugene. Aaron, how about this? You brought up a fascinating hypothetical before the show. If the Auburn Tigers had hired Deion Sanders, would they be the best team in the SEC West? Yes. Think about it. If Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter were on the Auburn Tiger team, and then whatever else talent he could have added to that roster, how good would they be?
I mean, let's just pull up the transfer portal right now of who would have gone besides just those two that are making plays right now for Colorado. I mean, it was.
I don't know if you wouldn't need, but you wouldn't need that many though, because Auburn.
No, you would have. You know, but the one thing that Hugh has done extremely well is I would say about half that roster for at least starters at Auburn are guys that he got in the transfer portal.
That's true.
So like he did have to go in the portal and get a bunch of guys, and they did a pretty good job in the portal as well. But even like Shiloh on defense as well, throwing him in there.
Yeah.
Like I would say right now, with how bad the SEC West is, like just think about this. If you're an Auburn fan, if you would have gotten Deion in year one, you would get Georgia at home, who right now looks vulnerable. You get Alabama at home. You'd have one of the best quarterbacks in the country. You'd have one of the best defensive players in the country. You would have a legitimate chance to win the SEC in year one at a place like Auburn, who has the resources, who has the NIL. At that point, like they're rolling at that point, man. Like recruiting would go through the roof there. It would be dangerous.
And I was going to say, I was going to make a joke about, Deion wanted to baptize hundreds of Auburn students, but Deion actually may have. Deion is absolutely a very public, firm man of God, pastor. So maybe he would have as well.
So Auburn was 5th, according to 24/7 Sports, in the transfer portal. Colorado, obviously crazy numbers. They had 51 commits. Auburn had 20. So
Oh,
like,
wow.
and listen, I think you and I both agree. Like Hugh is perfect for Auburn. He's great,
Perfect
but it's
fit.
just funny. It's perfect, but it's just funny to think of like where the SEC West is right now, and you look at Auburn, and if they would have gotten Deion and what would have come along with Deion, they would have been right there with LSU as a legitimate contender to win the SEC West this year.
It's an interesting point, man. Would you let Hugh Freeze baptize you?
No.
Really?
No.
Huh.